Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Sauce. Moving on to some SEC action. College football week 5. We got Florida at Kentucky. Right now, this line's sitting at Kentucky minus 2.5. It was at 3 earlier in the week. We'll get to that in a second. Total sitting at 46. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
So like I said, early on, this line was sitting at 3, and the early action was coming in on Florida pretty heavy. Knocked it down from 3 to 2.5. But since then, sharps have been hammering Kentucky. Sharp money all over Kentucky here. As of right now, it has not moved back to 3. This is going to be a line we'll have to keep an eye on. So we're going to finally find out how good this Kentucky team really is here. They're sitting at a perfect 4-0. They've looked really dominant at times, but they've also looked really shaky. I didn't watch any of the Eastern Kentucky game, but they were losing in the second half of that game against Eastern Kentucky. I did take Kentucky minus 26.5 in week 1 against Ball State, and I watched that entire game. Yeah, they won by 30, but the final score doesn't tell the whole story at all. Kentucky I did not deserve that cover. They barely outgained Ball State. They got dominated in time of possession. Ball State had 2 turnovers in their own territory, which basically gifted Kentucky 10 points. I deserved to lose that bet. I got lucky. But that was in week 1. Their last home game was against Akron, and they absolutely smashed them 35-3. Kentucky turned the ball over 3 times and still almost doubled Akron's total yards. Devin Leary at quarterback, I mean, this man just hasn't really looked impressive at all in his 4 games at Kentucky. He had a solid career at North Carolina State. I think a lot of people were pretty high on him transfer Kentucky and taking over at quarterback, but these numbers aren't great. I mean, just 59% completions, 8.6 yards per attempt is decent, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Considering the defenses he's seen, it's not good at all. Look at the defensive ranks of Kentucky's opponents so far this season. The best defense Devin Leary has seen so far was Ball State at 97th. That was his toughest defensive opponent this season. Florida's defense certainly isn't elite by any means, but compared to what Kentucky's seen so far, they might as well be the Georgia Bulldogs. The Gators defense is ranked 40th overall, 36th against the run, 36th against the pass, so they've been solid. I really don't expect much from Kentucky's offense. I don't like Devin Leary and Kentucky's offense in this matchup. Even at home, I think they're going to struggle to move the ball in this game. On the other side of the ball, this is where we can find some positive talking points for Kentucky, their defense. Kentucky's defense seemed to be picking up this year, right where they left off last year. I know they gave up 28 points in the Vanderbilt game, but 14 of those points came in garbage time. It was pretty much a comfortable blowout win at that point in the game. Kentucky Wildcats defense currently ranked 13th in the FBS defensively, 16th against the pass, 27th against the run. Now, these rankings, these are from Beta Rank. They incorporate strength of schedule, but still, we know the level of competition has been super weak for Kentucky. We have to keep that in mind. Offensively, I like what I've seen from Florida. I know a lot of people don't, but analytically, they agree with me. 27th ranked offense overall, 38th in effective rush, 39th in effective pass. I know everyone watched that opener in Utah, right? Florida scored just 11 points, and everyone kind of dismissed Graham Mertz and the Florida offense. Everyone was kind of like, oh, they're going to be shitty this year. You know what? They did have 346 total yards in that game. And at that time, that was week 1. We didn't quite know how good Utah's defense was going to be. Now, we all suspect Utah's going to have a good defense. They usually always do. But they're allowing just 9.5 points a game. They're currently, analytically, the #1 ranked defense in the country. So looking back now, it was week 1 with a brand new quarterback on the road against arguably the best defense in the FBS. So can we cut Florida's offense a little slack in that game? And by the way, Graham Mertz was pretty good in that game. And not just in that game, I think Graham Mertz looks good this year. I know there's a lot of people saying otherwise. He's only thrown 4 touchdowns on the season, but he's been extremely efficient at quarterback for Florida. He's completing 77.8% of his passes, 8.8 yards per attempt. So he's getting the ball downfield. That's the highest yards per attempt he's had at any point in his career. He's got a 162.1 passer rating on the season. I think Graham Mertz has been solid. And I know you might be thinking, yo, Kentucky's defense is going to be a huge test for Graham Mertz, though. Keep in mind, Graham Mertz has already played Utah and Tennessee. Both of those teams have higher rated pass defenses than Kentucky this year. And keep in mind, Graham Mertz comes from the Big Ten West. During his tenure with Wisconsin, that was probably the toughest defensive division in all of college football. I mean, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota. I mean, that side of the Big Ten is loaded with elite defenses. As far as these two teams' head-to-head matchups, it's been back and forth. Kentucky's actually taken the last two, but Florida took the two before that. Really no patterns to go by here. Both have won at home and both have won on the road, so really nothing to go by here. As far as what I'm personally going to bet, obviously there's some sharps out there. There's some heavy hitters out there that like Kentucky at -2.5. I disagree. I'm on Florida. Obviously, I'm going to wait it out. If this number goes back up to 3, I'm going to hammer Florida at +3. At 2.5 right now, I'm going to wait it out, let you know the final decision on the live show Saturday morning, but I'm on Florida. If it's still a 2.5 Saturday morning, I'm probably still taking Florida. If you want my top bets, parlays of the day, if you want to join our Discord, or if you want to get in the NFL Against the Spread giveaway contest, they give away something every week. If you're interested in that stuff, head over to KyleKirms.com. All that information is right there on the homepage. College football week 5 got a good SEC game here. This should be a fun game to watch. I'm also leaning under. I didn't mention that. I'll talk about it on the live show. So yeah, this should be a good one. Let's remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.